Hi, I'm Kristen, and I am the founder of Kristen Today, where I help you live your light so you can give your gifts to the world. So, this is my second live video on this week's considerations out of what was formerly a exclusively written blog. So, hello and welcome to my garden. Hopefully, it's working for real this time. um, this week, I want to talk to you about some common pitfalls that happen during Sun in Virgo, which is going to be as of this Thursday, as well as some feelings you might be feeling as Mars is preparing to go from retrograde motion over to direct motion the end of this week to early next week. So, what I hope that you feel and you understand by the end of this is how to better use your energies during this back to school time, when even if you're not going to school, you kind of feel that pressure to do good and do the right thing and really be committed to the causes so you can end the year in a positive foot. So I want you to feel solid about that, as well as doing the right things, because when Mars goes direct motion after being retrograde for so long, it can be really tempted to just go full speed, and maybe it's the wrong thing. So let's get started. When I was thinking about how to talk to you about this week's configuration, I was reflecting about the time when I had just given birth to Archer, and there was a couple eclipses that happened right around his birthday and afterwards. And during those eclipses, I started to realize that all of my notions of self-worth and what good I was doing in the world were actually quite abbreviated and small compared to what all the ambitions I wanted to do by the end of my life. And having the transition between, I dropped my pen, having the transition to becoming a mother is difficult for anyone. But those eclipses in particular made me realize that even though I had probably the sweetest gig that anyone could ask for a part-time job, I had a corner office with my colleague that even the owners didn't have. We were looking out over the Hudson River and I just remember seeing the shimmering seashell glistening of the buildings outside this view. And then the work that was being done at this design studio was always very inspiring to me, because I come from a dance and creative background, and I just loved people being in the creative process and being around that energy and just being able to show up, do my work, and then check out and still get all my benefits. I got health insurance. Anyways, the point is that I had a really sweet gig, and all signs pointed to this is a sweet gig and you should keep it. But when those eclipses happened, I realized that there was a bigger game for me to play, and then I had to rearrange my whole life to disappointedly tell them I wasn't coming back after my maternity leave, and then I was actually reopening my business to do it full time, to do the astrology, the coaching, and all the other good stuff that I can do at that point. And the way that moment reflects this moment is that we just came out of 3 eclipses this summer, which were mostly in Leo. And the Leo-Aquarius axis is really this contemplation about the self in the context of the greater community and the world. And it's about how do you fit into your dreams and aspirations that you have. So whether or not you had the eclipses happen to you in a direct way in some shape or form, that coupled with the Mercury retrograde, you've been going through this idea of how you express yourself and what's really working about that and what's your truth. So now that the sun is going into Virgo, and that's going to happen on Thursday just after midnight, so ding ding ding, the fairy godmother says it's midnight, and then it comes to Virgo. And when this comes, it's always this I always feel a little bit anxious, actually, when it comes in, because Virgo is really dedicated to service, to routines, to having things in order, to being organized, and going about the necessary business and tasks that get the ultimate pictures fulfilled. So if you think of the big goals, the big goals is the Capricorn aspect, or the overarching view and results, and the Virgo is all the nitty gritty stuff that makes things happen. So when the sun comes here, it asks us to show up to our responsibilities and to our day-to-day routines. Now, Mars is also in the sky right now, stationed, meaning that he doesn't appear to be going neither forward nor backwards. Technically, he's still going a little bit retrograde, so backwards, but he's preparing to go forwards again after a couple months of going backwards. And Mars is your action principle. It's the drive you have to move forward, and the impulsivity to try something new. So with him in the sky station like this, I can feel myself feeling like I'm in a race car and revving up my engine. I'm like ready to go, and I'm sure you're feeling the same way, because this Virgo energy that's coming up too is wanting you to get going on some really practical, well-needed things that need to get done. Now, I want you to be careful about what you choose to work on, because Mars is just going to want to go and do anything that feels like action and doing, and then the Sun in Virgo is going to want to just feel purposeful and needed. So the idea here is I want you to think about what is it that actually is purposeful and needed. In the end, you probably set up goals so that you feel more fulfilled, so that you can enable yourself to have a better lifestyle. And the summer is a really great time for just letting go, letting loose, and experiencing some of the good things that life have to offer. And just because the sun is entering Virgo doesn't mean you have to go completely opposite. Be careful of riding the scales of going back and forth, black and white. Find your gray areas and move towards the things that bring you more fulfillment on an everyday scale. So go ahead and have your plans, have your actions about what you want to finish by the end of the year, but also think about how you want to feel by the end of the year. Do you want to feel like you lived your life with full of happiness, of friendships and family? Do you want to feel like you really accomplished a lot in your business or your professional life? What is it that's going to bring you the most sense of fulfillment in your life at this point? The winter solstice is only 4 months away. It's hard to believe that, and that's really the mark of the new year, which has a direct relationship to Virgo, because Virgo is the earth sign directly before Capricorn, and Capricorn is what marks the passage to the winter solstice. So there's some interesting energies to help you move through finding your true north for this time, to really stay focused and energized to the right things. Maybe you want to be impulsive and just like go crazy on your Mars when it goes direct and like this exercise or jump out of an airplane. I don't know what you're going to want to do, but be careful that you just aren't using all the energy for things that are going to be quick gratification. Think a little bit more long-term, a little bit more practical, a little bit more easy on yourself to really feel fulfilled by the end of the year. Now, let's see, I wrote you some notes here. All right, so there's this interesting, I'm borrowing this technique from horary astrology, but there's this interesting translation of light through the sun over the weekend, where the sun is going to make a trine aspect to Uranus, and then later that day is going to make another trine to Saturn. And whenever you have a grand trine like that, it's like this magical flow of, it just kind of happens naturally. And so I believe that's on, I didn't write that down, but I believe that's on Saturday. My day guides have that, specifically which day it is, but I believe it's on Saturday, where you have this opportunity to really wait and observe what the right direction, what the easier on you version of Sun in Virgo will be. So Sun in Virgo is a month long, and usually you just hit the ground running and try to get your life organized in a way that looks functional, that everyone has their T's crossed and their I's dotted. But again, I'm encouraging you to see, well, what is it that you serve your community? How do you really serve that community better? Is it you just showing up? Is it you bringing one of your skills, one of your expertise to your friends? Maybe you're really good at organizing your time. It's a very Virgo topic. Maybe you're very good at organizing your time, and you just need to have some of your friends just need some help blocking out some personal time. So maybe you can give them your strategies about how you do that. You could make it a formal thing where you send a quick email to your friends and you just say, hey, I feel called to share some of my strategies of making me time. Do I want to get together for lunch and talk about how we're going to take care of ourselves this next season? Things like that. I mean, I know that's maybe a little bit awkward, but Virgo wants you to be in service and generous with your time and with your commitments. So if you're doing more things that bring you light and more things that are aligned to your true gifts, it's going to make every other part of your life more vibrant. So just take a moment here and think about what it is that could bring you more engagement with your community, and what is that you have an expertise towards. So that maybe you can offer to people what really might be a nice little gift to give over this next month. So as you're considering this, I invite you to just post your answers about what you might give as a gift, big or small, in terms of your service, personal or professionally, over this next month in the comments below this video. Okay, so pause if you haven't already finished that, and then I'm just going to continue to say that after Saturday's translation of light, the moon is entering a full moon, and it has a similar aspect to the sun where it's going to be aspecting by sextile those same two planets, Uranus and Saturn. And so even though it's not going to be this naturally flowing energy that just happens, insight just magically happens to you, like, oh yeah, I'm good at that, I should do more of that. It's going to still be available to you to engage and to look at. And with the full moon, this full moon is in Pisces, the very beginning of it, and its opposite axis is Virgo. So this Pisces moon is asking you about what your vision is. What is it that you've been delusioned by? What do you believe that you have to be following and doing and engaging in, and has that actually served you? So the purpose of that examination is to help carry you into a better sense of service and engagement with what you're doing going forward for the next 20 months, because moon cycles are actually 40 months long. So this is the first half of your new moon that happened 20 months ago, about your ideas of what you can believe in, what your vision was, what direction you're ultimately going spiritually, as well as the inner sense of knowing about where you're going, that faith, that inner faith. So after all this introspection over the weekend, you have this really powerful moment on Monday to make some really good moves to exert your influence, your charisma, your personality, to share your vision and the practical ways and strategy that you feel like that can get you there. Your Virgo, Sun in Virgo is going to want you to get to work, and so just try to find people who you would like to work with and have them help you make these new strategies, these new ideas a reality. And it's going to probably change the way you express yourself, the way you work on a day-to-day basis. So if your current routine looks like getting up, having coffee, and then you take the dog out for a walk, and then you come back and you check your emails, and then you take another break, and then you go start your work, maybe you want to shake that up a little bit and start with the stuff that lights you up first. So maybe you want to have a quote book with you, and the first thing you do when you wake up is you open the quote book and you see a quote for the day, and you just spend a moment or two contemplating that and visualizing your day with that positive quote. Then you go and you have your coffee, of course, or your tea, and make sure the dog goes and has his potty break. And then maybe instead of checking your emails, maybe you just go and you start with your service. You start with your good deed for the day, the things that are going to help you feel fulfilled by their accumulation of good deeds and good work. Not even good deeds, it's about good work. It's about doing the right work and the good work. So starting with the good work, and then after that you can take a break, check into the real world realities of your emails and your text messages, all that kind of thing, and then get going on the other responsibilities that you have. And before you know it, it'll be dinner time, and you'll have to take a turn for eating, and then you can go out and enjoy more of times with friends, or maybe take an evening walk while it's still nice outside. So I invite you to really reimagine your day-to-day life, to go after the things that make you feel fulfilled, not to just do things because it feels good to be in action. Again, Mars is going direct this week. After one more week of that, and you can already feel him getting ready to charge forward. So hold the energy, channel it in the right directions to make sure you're doing the things that are going to fulfill your Sun and Virgo time, to do the good work, the work that's going to keep you fulfilled, and the one that's going to really help you feel fulfilled by the end of the year. So again, post your comments below about what your little good your good work could be for this for this month, and maybe even the rest of the year. And I look forward to talking with you more. Bye.